Hello, welcome back. This is the Benjinator, and you're watching Let's Play Chrono Trigger. This is part 57, and we are about to do the final of the Fated Hour side quests. And so the last place that we actually have to go is the Middle Ages, and specifically this little hole right here, known as the Sunken Desert. So before you go here, I kept the same party that I had in the Northern Ruins, Crono, Frog, and Magus. And you can have any character you want as long as one of them has water magic. So you either need Frog, Magus, or Marley. Because otherwise, it's close to impossible in order to get this dungeon right. So make sure they have some kind of water magic. Furthermore, make sure this side quest will not happen unless way back in Zeal you told that woman to save the plant. Remember she was going to burn it? Tell her to save the plant. Otherwise, this is impossible. So let's head into this sunken hole right here. So this is kind of a weird place. And you're going to find some fairly interesting enemies here. It's kind of a pain because all the treasure chests have these whirling sands around them, which are no fun. And so now these particular enemies, what makes them special is that you actually have to use ice on them first, or water on them, in order for them to actually become weak. Otherwise, they're going to be pretty much invulnerable, as you'll see. Or are these the right ones? Let me check, because I know that there are enemies that are only immune to ice. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that just flat out kills them. Oh, Magus, you're so OP. But yeah, you will have to use that ice magic a little later on. There is a really strong enemy down here that requires that you use the ice magic on it to actually get anything done. So now there's going to be these guys. They look like Sir Crawley, actually. So these are, yeah, crazily enough, the Sir Crawleys. So let's take them out. The hexapods. Yeah, and so these guys have high defense, and to lower it, I think you have to use ice. So it's kind of like how, remember how with the like the dinosaur enemies, you have to use lightning on them. This is kind of the same idea. See, defense power goes down when water hardens the sand. So, and fortunately, I don't think these guys have any sort of like ice discharge, so you don't have to worry about some kind of massive counterattack. But yeah, see, use ice magic helps a ton. It's very, very difficult otherwise. And of course, Magus has probably one of the highest magic ratings in the game, so he's always useful to have around. And a lot of these treasure chests don't have anything too important, but it's always good to use them. So let me just take out these wannabe Sir Crawleys once again. Alright, made short work of them for sure. Alright, so there's another treasure chest in. Oh, look, more enemies. Yeah, this dungeon has quite a bit of these guys, so let me take them out. Woohoo! There's a lot of Lapizes down here, so that's always a good thing. There's the Aeon suit. I think that's fairly good, but it's not spectacular. Anyway, let me take these guys out. Alright, so I actually had to take out 2 battles worth of enemies, but now I think the rest of this room should be clear. So yeah, there's an elixir right there, and then you want to go to this next room here. So, so glad I brought Magus around. He's just fantastic. Such absolute great magical power. What be this? What be that? Ooh, okay. That thing looks creepy and eerily familiar. Yeah, Retitite. Yep, so he's the guy that's creating desert. Yeah, that's kind of a hint how to kill monsters within the desert, but it's actually quite simple. And so what this guy does is that he kind of just... Fortunately, I don't think there's any more enemies in this room, but you do this Retitite, he kind of shows up every once in a while. This is frustrating. Okay, so can't open the chest from here, but I can. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. This shouldn't be this hard. Alright, there we go. Full leather. And then go down here to get a memory cap. Cool stuff. And a muscle ring. Muscle rings are pretty good. Probably going to use those a little bit later. Definitely a big power boost for sure. Let me get this thing. And then finally got the Aeon helm. So, woohoo! And once you've gotten all those treasure chests, I missed one. Then you want to try to fight the Retitite because you can never come back here. So you might as well get what you can. So now we have to fight the Skeleton Man right there. And so this guy is kind of an interesting enemy. So the top and the bottom, you have to use water first. Otherwise, you just do 0 damage to them every time. So you have to weaken them up. And I should have healed. I just realized that. That's okay, though. I can use heal. And that's fine. So the core is something that's actually vulnerable that you can attack, but you have to use ice in order to do any sort of damage to either the top or the bottom. So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. Yeah, so you want to... I would try to... Yeah, the core is already dead. It doesn't have a lot of HP. So really, your work is just limited to fighting the top and the bottom. And this actually took me a long time to figure it out, which is kind of silly if you think about it, because all the other enemies down here are weak to ice. So why wouldn't this guy be? I don't know. But anyway, yes, Chrono has that awesome counterattack, and once that's done, you can start to just absolutely wail on it. It's really not that difficult. At least I don't think so. And then Magus can kind of keep using ice now that it's vulnerable, and so that's really kind of special. Yeah, that's because that's the one thing that you have to keep kind of doing, is that his defense goes up when he's attacked, and so it's kind of this really pain in the butt alternating thing where it's like, you know, use magic to weaken his defense, and then when you attack him, it goes right back up. So that kind of sucks. But it's sort of like fighting the jugglers in Magus's castle. The same idea is that you have to kind of keep going back and forth. So have Magus as your senior magic user in that sense, and thankfully, since Crono's going to be counterattacking all the time, you should be able to get 2 attacks in, because when you counterattack, that doesn't count as an actual attack, so his defense doesn't exactly go back up, which is really nice if you think about it. So yeah, Ice 2 once again, and let's have Frog use a full Ether on Magus so he can keep on rolling. And technically, if you want, Frog can use his ice attack as well. But for all intents and purposes, I kind of like the idea of Chrono and Frog being the primary attackers first. So yeah, he's going to use this, and hopefully Chrono will be able to counter. Always a good thing. So, yep, there he is, counterattacking just the way he should. And now one more blow to the head should be able to... I think this should actually be able to take him out. Yeah, so there we go. Now he's just walking. Now he's just kind of silly, looking like a torso walking around. So, yeah, have Magus use the just for safekeeping, and then what we can actually do is have Frog use his water attack on the legs, which will keep his defense down. Actually, I'm not even sure if that was necessary, but who's counting? This will work. So now all we have to do is take out the torso, which is significantly less powerful. So this guy really isn't that hard at the end of the day. Yeah, so defense power goes up slightly, but not too bad. So just have Frog keep using water, and that should be okay. This guy ain't too tough. Woohoo! So yeah, we're reaching fairly close to the end of the side quests here. This is pretty much the last one. You can sort of count the Black Omen as well. However, I kind of see that as a fairly... I mean, it is an optional dungeon, but it's still really good to do for a variety of different reasons. Oof, that was brutal. Poor Frog. Yeah, and you'll kind of see that once we get to... Especially once we get through this game completely, that there's a lot of stuff that's optional. Remember that you can actually go fight Lavos as early as when you first arrive at the end of time. So there was a huge amount of different opportunities to fight Lavos, and it's important to sort of keep that in mind for when we get to the end of the game. So that's one thing that's kind of cool about Chrono Trigger, is that you have any opportunity to fight Lavos when you want. At least from a certain point, once you get to the end of time. And this does have sort of an effect on the replayability of this game. And so there's probably a lot of stuff that you might have already heard about in regards to this game. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but there is kind of this nice little element of replayability. And a lot of it depends on when you decide to fight Lavos. So, you know, it's kind of like you're getting very different versions of the same game. And so the Black Omen I consider to be not necessarily I mean, it's not a mandatory dungeon because there are different amounts of times you can fight Lavos, but it's probably the biggest one that you'll have to deal with, because what you've kind of noticed with these side quests is that there are a lot of relatively small dungeons, if you ask me. And now what we're beginning to see is that the Black Omen doesn't disappoint because it's actually a fairly long one. So, there we go. The Retinite is dead. Alright. 100 tech points. Magic Wall for Magus. And I think he has Dark Mist and then Dark Matter after that. So, alright. So, now that we have taken out the Retinite, let's go up to the surface and talk to Fiona, the woman that was talking about saving the environment. The first environmentalist ever. Let's go talk to her. Alright, so here we are in Fiona's villa, and as you notice, I actually switched Magus out for Robo, and there's a very specific reason as to why I did that, so let's see what she says. Yeah, so it's going to take a long time to regrow a forest. As we all know, pines are not grown in a year, or even a decade, so... yeah, so you have to have Robo in your party because he will volunteer to help rebuild the forest because he's a robot. He can live for a long time. So, yeah, this is what you want to do. You want to let Robo stay behind to help out Fiona. And then, of course, what's going to happen is that they are going to just kind of throw a party member. In this case, it's Marley. So, Robo is going to stay here for the next 400 years. Yeah, 400, not 300, to help restore this forest. But what is that going to mean 400 years from now? So, let's go find out by going to 1000 AD. Alright, so here we are in 1000 AD, and look at that! This is a very different place. So look at all these trees are back, and now it looks like there's a shrine. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see what's in here. So Fiona's got a shrine, thanks to the efforts of Robo. Speaking of which, I hope Robo's okay. I mean, he was toiling for centuries, so that's kind of crazy. So what's going on here? Alright, so apparently there's a shrine dedicated to Fiona and Robo. That's pretty cool. You even get your own monastic order. That's pretty cool. Oh, okay, so Robo's here, and his remains are there. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so actually here's one kind of cool thing, is that if you do the side quest, you actually have access to buying a bunch of different hats. And these are pretty expensive ones, but these will, of course, the Vigil hat is the one that you really, really want. This will protect all your status. However, if you have the Prism helmets, that sort of negates it, because Prism helmets do the same thing. They protect your status, and they really, really boost your magic defense. So, really, there's no point in doing that. Let's see, are we going to be able to get Robo back? We'll have to, I guess his remains are up here, and, oh wow, he looks kind of beat up. Maybe we can reactivate him. I mean, Luke has done it twice. What's the third time? You know, who cares if he's covered in soot and rust and dirt and all sorts of pollen? I'm sure we can bring him back. Oh. Well, there he is. Yeah, he's alive. That was easy enough. Yeah, it's good to see you again. For us, it was about 10 minutes. For you, it was a very long time. Yeah, exactly. For you, it was a quick hop, but for me, 400 years have passed. Must have been quite a journey. But yeah, we got the forest back, which is pretty cool. 400th year reunion. Yeah, it's going to be kind of awkward for the rest of us, considering we just saw you about 10 minutes ago. So, this is kind of one of the more interesting parts of the game. Is we're all kind of sitting around a campfire, having our reunion. Lavos not responsible for the gates, hey? Yeah, that's an interesting theory. Something or someone wanted to see this all along. Interesting. God, perhaps? Some kind of celestial being? Entity, alright. Oh, okay, well, now we're getting all existential. We're talking about divine beings and what happens when people die. Yeah, alright, and seeing your life flash before your eyes. That's interesting. Good theories. Ah, yes, the whole if, ands, and buts. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, I guess is what they call it. Well, now we're thinking about our own mortality. That's interesting. See, this is why I wanted to do this side quest last, is because you get to have this nice little conversation. How about you, Luca? Any place that you want to go? No, not really. Alright. Yeah, it's... I guess it is something worth thinking about, though. I think everybody's got their time period that they like to, you know, see again, or maybe even redo, have a do-over of some sort. Yeah, Lavos is quite a being, that's for sure. Yeah, who is this entity? Magus standing over there, perched up against a tree. Yeah, probably some kind of 4th or 5th dimensional creature. Meanwhile, of course, Chrono, being the blabbermouth he is just sleeping, so he's not even part of this. Alright, yeah, enough big-time existential talk. Let's get up. Or, not get up, let's go to sleep. I guess Luca's having trouble sleeping. See, I kind of find it funny because Magus looks like he's not even actually lying down or sleeping or some sort. He's just kind of lying here. So what's up? What's keeping Luca up? Let's see what's going on over here. Oh, okay, a gate. Well, damn. Let's check it out. Why not? Ooh, it's red. I don't like that. This might take us to hell or something, or maybe 1999. You know, going up against Lavos all by yourself. I mean, Luca's pretty powerful at this point, but she's not that powerful. Hopefully, there's not going to be any Lavos. Please don't let there be any Lavos. Oh! It's Luca's house! Uh-huh. Looks like Luca's been playing this all along. Okay. So that was 10 years ago. Oh. You hate science. That's kind of a switch over. Luca had some interesting development then. Alright, so nothing here. It seems to me that Luca was kind of thinking about something like this. I mean, she said that she didn't want to go back to a time period, but she didn't really seem surprised when this portal kind of appeared. Okay, so remember that. And remember the passwords. Yeah, the name of Luca's mom is Lara, Lara. And so if you're playing the PlayStation version, it doesn't really have anything to do with your controller, but if it's the Super Nintendo version, there is an L, there is an A, and there is an R. So, definitely something to keep in mind. So, what's going on? Oh, okay. So, this is 10 years ago. Yeah, okay. When it happens, machines. Uh-oh. You're stuck? Well, that's not good. That's... You're stuck in the machine. Oh no, it's turning on. So this is kind of an interesting side quest. So what you actually have to do is you have to try to stop that machine from going. And so it's going to enter, if you go down here, it's going to ask you to enter the password. So after the message go, you say L-A-R-A. Or L circle R circle. So you've changed history. Congratulations. And you don't have to do that, but it's kind of a nice thing if you do. So, alright. And depending on how this quest goes, these notes here will change. So, yep, and what does this one say? Okay, so yeah, and that one, yeah, if you fail to do that, Luca's mom's legs get lobbed off, and then there's this really tragic one talking about how she's not gonna be able to walk again. But now, you know, you've changed the past for the better. It actually, I totally messed that up the first time I did that. I just let those legs be chopped off, and I just was a horrible person, letting someone basically become a paraplegic. And so this will be reflected in the present, as now Luca's mom will be able to walk around. So there's something to keep in mind. Oh, look, Robo was keeping an eye on us, huh? How you doing? Oh, that's a good conclusion. Well, I guess Robo was repaired by Luca, so that's kind of a valid point. Alright, so piece of amber. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, 400 years and a lot of pressure to make. I can believe it. So we're not going to be getting one of these soon. So you got the Green Dream, and this is an accessory that actually serves as a automatic revival spell. So if you die when you're wearing the Green Dream, it'll bring you back once. It won't keep bringing you back. It'll bring you back once. Once per battle. Aw, Robo's so nice. Anyway, so that is the end of the Save the Forest side quests. And so we are actually through all of the side quests except for going to the Black Omen. But does that mean we're going to go there yet? Not quite. There's a couple of other things that I want to show you before we take on the ever so ominous Black Omen. So, we're gonna do some of that next time. This is the Benjinator. You're watching Let's Play Chrono Trigger. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you later.